Hi there, Logic Language learners. This is a video about the past participles. Yeah, the past participles. If you find this video useful, could you please subscribe? Could you please click like? And don't forget that underneath in the description box, I do have a link to a coffee account where you are very welcome but not obliged to buy me a coffee. So, what are the past participles and how do we use them? How do we find them? And what are the ones that are always going to be a pain in the ass? So this is a video that is largely aimed at people who are beginner to intermediate. This is something that I would like to hope most advanced speakers kind of have, but this is a really good all-in-one guide for what are the past participles. So, a past participle is the word you are going to use in any tense, and this does not just mean the passé composé, where you have three ingredients. So for example, if you said, he has eaten, then the third word is the word that we're talking about. But beginners will have experienced he has eaten. But if you get a little bit further in French, you will realize that there are 5 spoken conjugations that use this third word. And in the literary tenses, we have a couple more. So for example, if we said he has eaten, this word manger, for example, il a mangé, il avait mangé, il aura mangé, il aurait mangé, c'est bizarre qu'il ait mangé. We have 5 other conjugation systems that are going to use these single words. So don't just think you're investing all your time and your energy into learning something for the one tense. You're going to need this for any of those 5 spoken or 2 extra literary written tenses. So basically any tense where you have another word in the middle. Okay, I just need a drink of water, 1 second. So, what I thought we'd do is just create an ultimate guide to knowing what these are, going over the regulars and going over the irregulars. That's better. So, I made a turmeric latte, don't even start. And there's like a film, there's like a film of it on my tongue. So, mainly, if you divide French into, now this is a teaching system that I don't use, but some people, so in England or America, people might say ER verbs, IR verbs, RE verbs, which is completely not cool because IR verbs could be 2 different types. So IR verbs could be sortir, or they could be finir. One is a standard soft hard, sort, 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 sortant, sortez, sort. And one is what I call a snake verb, fini, 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 finissant, finissez, finisse. So, be careful with those definitions. In France, we don't say that either. We say verbe du premier groupe, verbe du deuxième groupe, verbe du troisième, verbs from the first group, verb from the second. So, blah, blah, blah. We are going to stick with our definitions and I will go through those as we begin. So, first things first, if your verb is what I call an A verb, that is a verb which ends in an A sound in the to form in the infinitive. So manger, to eat, danser, to dance, chercher, to look for, regarder, to look at. It ends in an A sound and consequently the infinitive will be written ER. Then your past participle will be E, remove the R, and you have an E and an acute. Okay, so bottom left to top right. So for example, this will be conjugated either with the verb to have or the verb to be. And all of the words that we are doing today, because they are in auxiliary tenses, that means tenses with a verb in the middle. Yeah, before our first verb, our verb in the middle, and then our past participle, all of them will need have or be in the middle. So if I said I have eaten, j'ai mangé, I will have mangé, M-A-N-G, E acute. And any verb, which is an ER verb, really, that's fichu, but don't you be worrying about that at this stage now. The vast majority of your verbs which have that A sound, the past tense will be E and E in acute, okay? So, danser, I have danced, j'ai dansé, just knock off the R, E in acute. Cut, he has cut, il a coupé. We're not focusing today on whether we have a have or a be in the middle. We're talking about how to find those last words. So, okay, so that might be irregular for you. Move on. Otherwise, scroll the video along. If we have a video if we have a verb section which is going to look at verbs which end in a DRE, with the exception of verbs which end PRENDRE or are entirely PRENDRE, in other words, the verb prendre. So other than those that we will come to in a moment, then your past tense will be taking off the R and the E and swapping it for an U, the single letter U. So vendre, to sell, j'ai vendu. Yeah? Rendre, j'ai rendu. Descendre, je suis, or j'ai, depending on the context, descendu. Okay? So that is another very, very common category. The third very common category that I'd like to talk about is if your verb is what we would call a second group verb. I've just given it you the wrong way around, but what we call in French a second group verb. So for example, finir, where we would have fini, 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 finissant, yeah? Or choisir, choisi, choisi, choisissant, choisissez, choisisse. So an IR verb, but one of the ones which uses the snake sound, then that will be simply knocking off the R. So fini, j'ai fini, I have finished, F-I-N-I. Choisi, j'ai choisi, C-H-O-I-S-I-E. Obéir, to obey, I have obeyed, j'ai obéi, yeah, with the I on the end. Be very careful that you are going to come across other spellings of these past participles for various reasons. Either A, they might be used as adjectives. So for example, if you were saying finished, but you meant it in an adjectival way, the thing in question might be feminine, so it might have an E on the end. Or indeed, you could have a preceding direct object. So if you said the page, you were supposed to translate a page, and you said, yes, I finished it, referring to the page, je l'ai fini, although a past participle, your fini, F-I-N-I, would have an E on the end. Because we've had a feminine thing before it. For example, and we're not going into that now in the video, but if you had, for example, the pages, I finished them, je les ai finis, your F-I-N-I would then have another E and another S. So if you're seeing some of these words and they're looking a little bit different for beginners or intermediates, that is the reason, okay? So largely then, ER verbs are going to go E and the acute, IR verbs, when they are classic second group, snake verbs, finissant, choisissant, obéissant, fournissant, provide, they will go with just knocking off the letter R. And if it's a DRE, vendre style groups, vendre, descendre, rendre, then they will go to DU. Okay, so they're a category that you can kind of wipe out the way. Right, now let's look at some irregulars. Okay, so our first group of irregulars, okay, are verbs which are going to end in the sound U, U. Now, only one of these has an accent over the U. The rest of them are just simply going to be the letter U on the end, all right? So the verb pouvoir, to be able to, I have been able to, j'ai pu, P-U. Vouloir, I have wanted to, j'ai voulu, voulu. Okay, now I'm not talking here about the tense choice of whether you say j'ai voulu versus je voulais, and if you don't understand what I'm on about, then I will tag a video underneath based on whether you are using the imperfect, the was tense, or whether you are going to use this passé composé tense. This is just on the assumption that you know you need that verb in the past tense, that's the passé composé, the 1, 2, 3, and you need the auxiliary past, and this is your past tense. So pouvoir goes to pu, vouloir goes to voulu. We've then got voir, to see. So I have seen, j'ai vu, il a vu, okay? Devoir, he has had to, I have had to, il a dû, j'ai dû, du, and this one has got the accent over the U, because du without that accent would be the participle some, du café on a masculine singular, okay? Or just from the, de le, masculine singular. We've then got I have known, j'ai su, S-U. So savoir, j'ai su, okay? Recevoir, j'ai reçu, R-E-C with a cedilla, U, j'ai reçu. Notice, vécu, vécu is I have lived, where there is V-E and an accent, and a C with no accent. as opposed to reçu, where we have RE with an accent. No, we have RE and no accent, and C with the accent, okay? So I have received, j'ai reçu. Tenir, to hold. Il a tenu, tenu, okay? Croire, to believe. Il a cru. Perdre, il a perdu. Yes, I lost whatever, my key. J'ai perdu ma clé. Lire, j'ai lu. J'ai lu. What else have we got? To drink, j'ai bu. Bu, the all U. Get a lovely U sound going. Venir, to come. Venu. Now, this is a be verb. Je suis venu. Il est venu. But our past participle is still going to be U. Venu. Can I remind you, like any other past participle, we could have that in any number of tenses. Je suis venu, j'étais venu, je serai venu, je serai with an S venu, que je sois venu. Okay? Descendu. Descendu. D-E-S-C-E-N-D-R-E. Descendu is going to be our past tense. Somebody's written these in the wrong order on the list that I've copied and pasted from the internet. So not cool. So why have we got descendre? Why have we got vouloir? Connaitre, connu. So connaitre, past tense. Somebody's got vouloir, connu. I'm like, no. So vouloir, voulu. We've done at the top. Connaitre, connu. Yeah, to know, to be familiar with the thing. So he got to know, il a connu, okay? We've then got vivre, as I've already said, vécu, vécu, which is V-E with an accent and a C-U, okay? So far then, all of those have been an U, lovely, 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 giving us the sound of an U. Can I remind you, it's very much seen as an irregular within the irregulars, but the past tense of the verb to have is U, E-U. And this bothers you all because everywhere else in French that you have the pronunciation, you have E and U together, you have the pronunciation E. So I can, je peux, he wants, il veut. Whatever's going on, EU normally in French will give you E. But here it sounds like all the others that we've just done, U. All right? So pouvoir, pu, vouloir, vu, voulu, voir, vu, devoir, dû, savoir, su, recevoir, reçu, tenir, tenu, croire, j'ai cru. Perdre, j'ai perdu, lire, j'ai lu, boire, j'ai bu, venir, je suis venu, descendre, and consequently anything else that would work like venir. So, you know, devenu, you know, convenu, anything else that, revenu, anything else that would work like venir would go to that U as well. That contains the venir within it, all right? Good. We then go to pasts that have an IS. Okay, now, let's not get confused. Some of our E sounds in the present tense are written with an IS, or other tenses, you know, passé simple in books. So I finish, je finis, tu finis, it would be F-I-N-I-S, F-I-N-I-S, F-I-N-I-T. But the past tense, as we've spoken about, would be j'ai fini, F-I-N-I. And we've also spoken about other situations. I can't speak English. And we've also spoken about other situations where that might be spelt with an S on it. That doesn't make it the present. So for example, the eggs, yes, I finished them. You know, je les ai, let's go with something that a bit more relevant. The books, I finished them. Les livres, je les ai finis. So fini would then have F-I-N-I-S. Like I said, because you've got a preceding complement, you've got a preceding direct object, which is plural in this case, and not feminine. So you're going to see F-I-N-I-S elsewhere, but it doesn't mean the past participle as standard is F-I-N-I-S. That would be F-I-N-I. So we are talking about verbs where the standard past is IS, always, okay? So, mettre, to put, j'ai mis, yeah? J'ai mis, M-I-S. And anything that would contain mettre, so commettre, commis, commit, promettre, promis, yeah? Likewise, prendre. We spoke earlier about verbs which have P-R-E-N-D-R-E and anything else that contains prendre, like apprendre or comprendre, will go to P-R-I-S, pris. So I took, j'ai pris, I understood, j'ai compris, I learnt, apprendre, j'ai appris, P-R-I-S. Again, all of those verbs are subject to you adding like any past participle, any past participle. If you had a feminine thing coming before it that it was referring to, so if you said, the information, I've learnt it, je l'ai apprise. Yeah, I've understood it, je l'ai comprise. Yeah, I put it something feminine, je l'ai mise. You'd have an extra E written down or an ES. If you had a plural, you don't need to add an S on a single S. So if you said, the eggs, I put them. No, let's go to the books. The books, I put them. Je les ai mis. M-I-S is fine for the plural. You don't need to add an S on an S. That's fine. Okay? To sit down, je me suis assis. Often used as an adjective. Assis. Often used as a feminine adjective. Assise. Often used as a feminine plural adjective. Assise. But the basic past is A-S-S-I-S. So we have mettre, mis, prendre, pris, comprendre, compris. For example, apprendre, appris, s'asseoir, asseoir, assis. Okay? And that will be spelt with an IS as standard. Good. Our next little group is ever so interesting because, again, you'll hear an IR. This is why I despise the term IR verb, because these are also an IR verb. So, by definition, ouvrir, couvrir, découvrir, souffrir, to suffer. But if you have an RIR, they will often swap the IR in the past to ERT. So, ouvrir, j'ai ouvert. You might have come across the adjective, it's open, the window, elle est ouverte. Yeah? So, couvrir to cover, j'ai couvert. Discover, de-cover. Discover, j'ai découvert. Suffered, souffrir, j'ai souffert. Okay? So, again, any one of those, and very commonly, will be adjectives. So, I have opened, j'ai ouvert. Like we said, the door is open, la porte est ouverte. So with any past participle, what you're learning is that is very commonly going to give us an adjective. Not all adjectives, but a lot of adjectives do come from the past tense of the verb. Like in English, if you have an English adjective which ends ed, tired, I am tired, it's taken from the past tense of the verb to tire. Exhausted is taken from the past tense of the verb to exhaust. Let's try and be something slightly more positive than tired and exhausted. Motivated. The verb is to motivate. Yeah, Luke motivated his students by telling them that they could do this easily. Luke is motivated. Yeah, or they were motivated. Okay, and we are making that an adjective from they were motivated could either be an adjective or a passive, but in this case, they are motivated is being taken from the verb. So if you hear an ed in an adjective, you're using the past tense of the verb. But there are plenty of exceptions between English and French. So for example, we don't in French say the window is opened. Pardon me, in English, we don't say the window is opened. But in French, we're saying the window is open. The word for open we are using is opened. So j'ai ouvert, something is ouvert. Make it feminine, ouverte. So ouvrir, ouvert, offrir, offert, to offer, offrir, offert, or to give somebody something as a gift. Souffrir, to suffer, souffert, découvrir, découvert. Okay? Lovely. We then come on to verbs which, as standard, their past tense ends in a T. Now, there's a lovely little trick that we use in French, which I've told you about before, where we imagine there's a feminine thing. So if you were saying if you said I've said, j'ai dit, j'ai mis, and j'ai fini, all of those sound the same. Dit, mis, fini. One of them is ending in an I, one of them is ending in an IS, and one of them is ending in an IT. And one of the ways that we remember this in French is to imagine that we have a feminine thing up the ass of it before. So for example, I have said it, if it were feminine, je l'ai dit. I have put it, if it were feminine, je l'ai mise. I have finished it, je l'ai fini. So our mouths know, if we had a feminine thing before there, what sound we would create, which sound we would create. So that's one way that in France we often remember what's the past tense spelling. Because I can tell you, a load of people get this wrong. I have had emails all the time from friends who will remain nameless, French friends who said things like, oh, I finished my work, j'ai fini mon travail, F-I-N-I-S, and I'm like, no, all right? So we have to know what the basic past participle is and whether or not we're adding any E's or S's for gender and plurality. So in other words, all of these ones are going to be verbs which end in a T. So any of your weird and easy group, like I say, conduire, to drive, produire, to produce, réduire, to reduce, they will end in a T. What they actually are is the third person of the verb. So je conduis, tu conduis, il conduit. I drove, j'ai conduit. Just looks the same. Yeah, D-U-I-T. He produced, il a produit. Construit, translate, traduit. So any of the weird and easy verbs. Séduit, seduce, déduit. Wow. Deduce, déduit. I hope you've deduced what's going on here. And any of that grouping. The one way to remember those in English is that they are verbs which often have action as their noun. So production, reduction, conduction, seduction, deduction. We don't use suction though. That's the verb sucer, which would be the ER category. So sucer would be just the E in the flick. All right. We've also got D, as I said, I have said, dit. Most of you know that one, which again looks like the he form. So je dis, tu dis, il dit, present tense, j'ai dit, dit. If you had a feminine thing, the thing that I said, la chose que j'ai dite, again, you would write it with a feminine E on the end. If this business of adding the E's and the S's is too much for you right now, don't you worry, but it's just to explain what the basic past participle is and when you might have something else on the end of it. Wrote, je l'ai écrit, the letter that I wrote, la lettre que j'ai écrite, as standard ends in a T. Your eyes will be used to seeing écrit with an S because I write, present tense, j'écris, but not the past, écrit with a T. Good, so conduire, conduit, construire, construit, produire, produit, traduire, traduit, dire, j'ai dit, big one there, écrire, j'ai écrit. Lovely. We then come on to verbs which end in an I, just an I, okay? So, bear in mind that this is a spelling that you will also see in what we said as standard were the second group, the snaky verbs. So finir, fini, choisir, choisi, fleuri, grossir, grossi, j'ai maigri, agit, act, réagit, rougi, go red. Saisi, to grab. So a lot of those IR verbs, to use a term I don't like to use, but the ones that are standard are snake verbs, which really is a massive group. So sans, say, is. Using my method, they are soft, hard verbs, single, soft, plural, hard. Rougi, let's do the ones you know the most. Fini, 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 finissant, finissez, finisse. Any of those verbs, of which they're a legion, your past tense will be the letter I, like we've already said. But also, another grouping which has just the letter I in the past is if we had, for example, rire, okay, and words which work like it. So rire and j'ai ri, yeah. So ri, yeah, and suivre, suivi. Okay, they're the really two good core ones to get hold of. So j'ai suivi, I followed, S-U-I-V-I. All right, suivi. Okay, I laughed, j'ai ri. I don't tend to say j'ai ri that often. If I say that makes me laugh, ça me fait rire. Other than that, my standard verb for laugh, I just tend to go with rigoler, rigoler. All right, lovely. We've then got some diverse ones at the end, some rather different ones. So the verb to be. Ever so popular, obviously in the past tense, I have been, which often in your brains gets confused with I went to. So I went to the gym, I've been to the gym, okay? Remember, so aller would be an ER verb at the top, although it's an être verb and it confuses you and it's all weird in the present tense, je vais and subjunctive I and I will go, j'irai and all of this stuff. In the past tense, je suis or je suis allé, A-L-L-E acute, with a possible E, with a possible S, if it's plural or feminine? Because it is a verb to be. Now that brings up a very good point I should have mentioned earlier. We've been talking about why things might have an e's and s's on the end. That wasn't English. We've been talking about why things might have e's and s's on the end with these past participles. And the two examples I gave you was A, if it was being used as an adjective, or B, if it had a preceding direct object. In other words, a feminine or a plural thing about it coming before. The video of which will be underneath in the description box. But obviously, completely forgot to say, if you have a be verb, a verb which as standard conjugates with be rather than have. So I went up, I went down, I went out, I came back. The ones which talk about your placement in the space. I don't like people calling them verbs of motion because, well, backflip is emotion, swimming is emotion, running is emotion. All the things I can no longer do. So they would as standard, if a woman was saying them, or somebody who identified as female, they would have an E and an acute and then another E. If a plural grouping was saying them, so we went, nous sommes allés, nous sommes partis, there'd be an extra S spelling on the end. If it was feminine, plural, we'd have an E and an S, okay? So, but I have been then is not a be verb. The verb to be does not have the verb to be as an auxiliary, interestingly. It doesn't. So I have been is j'ai, or il a, or tu as, your normal with have. Été. This is E acute, T, E acute. That sounds like I was, doesn't it? J'étais. Please bear in mind, what did I tell you about all of these verbs? They have 1, 2, 3. There's a third word is your past participle, and your second word is have or be, the auxiliary verb. I have. Some of them could be used with a reflexive, je me suis, tu t'es, and then the past word. But either way, as standard, you will have a verb in the middle. So what that means is, I have been, j'ai été, il a été, nous avons été. J'étais, J apostrophe E acute T-A-I-S, or tu étais, il était, is a different spelling, and that is the verb in the imperfect. But it sounds largely the same, été. Okay? Été also means summer. So I have had, we talked about it earlier, j'ai eu. I have done, j'ai fait. Again, if it was something feminine, it could be, So I tell you the important thing about these ones with the E's and the S's is if you have ones, past participles, which end in a consonant. So, a T, an S, for example, and the E was added on the end, the E were added on the end, then you're going to hear that orally. So, for example, if I say, let's look at one that we've done. So I have finished, j'ai fini. And if we said the page that I finished, la page que j'ai fini, fini is going to sound exactly the same. It's only going to have a an E written down on the end of it, but it's not going to sound any different. Whereas if you had a verb like we've done, so the prendre would give me pris, P-R-I-S, mettre would give me me, M-I-S, say would give me D, D-I-T, because those end in a consonant, D's, or Luke, what are you on about? Dit. D's is the they form in the present tense. So dit or mise, you're going to hear those sounds, okay? So really, the only extra verb I can think of which you will hear the E going on the end of it is mort. So she died, elle est morte. Yeah? Apart from the rest of them, descendu, parti, resté, né, venu, sorti, parti, rentré, retourné, revenu. They're all, none of them are going to have a sound that's different because you're adding the E on the end of those, all right? So finally, we've got, talking of the verbs to be, we've got I was born, which in French is conjugated in the 1, 2, 3 tense, the passé composé, so je suis né, N-E acute, obviously an extra E if necessary because it's a be verb for a lady. And died is mort, M-O-R-T. Okay, so in overview, let's do a quick recap. Verbs which use eu. So pouvoir, pu, vouloir, voulu, voir, vu, devoir, dû, savoir, su, recevoir, reçu, tenir, tenu, croire, cru, perdre, perdu, lire, lu, boire, bu, venir, venu, descendre, descendu, vouloir, voulu, no, connaître, connu, vivre, vécu. Verbs which use an IS as standard. Mettre, mis, prendre, pris, comprendre, compris, apprendre, appris, asseoir or s'asseoir, assis. Verbs which are standard use an ERT. Ouvrir, ouvert, offrir, offert, couvrir, couvert, souffrir, souffert, découvrir, découvert, and the like, and the like. Verbs which have a standard ending of a T would be conduire, conduit, for example, traduire, traduit, construire, construit, okay? And rire, and verbs which have a standard ending as an I are all of your snake verbs, and rire, and the like, and suivre, suivi. And verbs which have a random, just are worth learning is être is été, naître, to be born, is né, mourir is mort, faire is fait with the T, and have, j'ai eu, not pronounced e. So I'm now going to give you a mixed bag. I'm just going to randomly give you an infinitive in a sentence, and you're going to give me the spelling, all right? So, he chose, verb choisir, which is a standard snake verb. Il a choisi, choisi. He put the bag on the table, verb mettre. Il a mis, mis, okay? He saw the bag. Il a, from verb voir. Il a vu le sac. He did the work, from the verb faire. Il a fait le travail. Verb have, he had as an action. He had a coffee. Il a eu un café. I promised, from the verb promettre. Think of mettre. J'ai promis. Yeah, P-R-O-M-I-S. I had to finish. J'ai dû finir. When I saw the photograph, I knew. Action form of savoir. J'ai su, S-U. I drank a coffee. J'ai bu un café, B-U. All right? Let's do some reflexives. I got washed. Je me suis, from the verb laver, je me suis lavé. With an accent, L-A-V-E acute. A lot of reflexive verbs will be ER verbs. So, je me suis habillé, I got dressed, habillé. Je me suis rasé, not incredibly often. I went to bed, je me suis couché. I'm not so good at that either, I tend to stay up. Je me suis levé. A lot of those will just be the E acute. So I hope that's kind of giving you an overall picture. So just be very, very vigilant when you see the have or the be auxiliary at the sound that comes, at the spelling that comes on the end. Because there are only so many that you're going to learn. The rest will fall very largely into the ER category, your standard IR category, to use a term I don't really like, which would be the plain old I. Yeah, so for example, sortir, S-O-R-T-I-R, it's standard. It's not a snake verb, it's a standard soft hard. So, je sors, tu sors, il sort, nous sortons. So, sorti, S-O-R-T-I, that's your standard go-to. Most things that are I-R go to the I, the majority. Not all though, we've talked about them, haven't we? Yeah, we've talked about them. Couvrir, couvert, découvrir, découvert. Partir, this is a nice little idea to end on. If it's a standard sort of partons, partez, part. Okay, a standard though, as a general rough guess, if your verb ends in IR, to take it just to drop off the R in the past tense is a pretty good guess. Yeah, the irregulars, as we've talked about, are anything to do with coming. So venir would go to venu. Anything where you had an R-I-R, an R-I-R would go to ERT. So couvert, découvert, ouvert. But I, ending on an I, je suis parti, pretty good guess. Good. I hope this has been useful. This is, like I said, largely targeting people who are starting the language. Good, but I don't like saying beginners too much because you could overtake people. Yeah, some of my fastest learners, some of the people who are really, really the strongest people I'm teaching have done a have done far fewer weeks than other people I've taught who they've overtaken now. So, yeah, get your head down, guys. Lovely. Well then, I will speak to you soon. If you have enjoyed this video, if you have found it useful, please do click like, please do subscribe, please do comment. It does help me with the YouTube algorithm. And like I said, I have a Ko-fi account underneath. All right? Good. In fact, say a little comment. Say something nice. Or something horrible, I don't care. Comments on the fact that I've majestically managed to team a t-shirt colour and a shirt colour in a way that seldom happens, which just made me feeling really good about the world, which left me feeling really good about the world. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.